Welcome to Excel tutorial. Today, I'll teach you how I have created my income and expense tracker in Excel. So with the help of this income and expense tracker, you'll be able to track all your incomes and expenses easily. And it also, like for the complete year, you'll be able to easily track it with the help of this complete sheet. So first, I'll show you how this income and expense tracker is going to look like. And then I'll teach you how to create the income and expense tracker like this. So here is how my income and expense tracker will look like. So first I'll have the input data where I can try to enter all my income categories and my expense categories, like what are all going to be my different expenses. I can just try to have here in this particular sheet. The next sheet, the transaction sheet, I'll have all my transactions. So whatever transaction I have for income, I have for expenses, all the transactions are listed in this particular sheet. So next, in the overview, I'll have the complete overview of my income and expense. So here I have the start date and end date, and then here you can see below I have all the incomes, and then here I have listed down all my expenses over here. And I have also found out what is going to be the total income expense, and the graph is also given over here. So I'll teach you from scratch how you can actually create an income and expense tracker like this. Let's get started. I have opened a new Excel, so I'll try to go and name this sheet as input data. So here I'll just try to completely select this. I'll say input data. So this is going to be the title. So I'll just try to do the formatting. So I'll try to fill this with the color and I'll center align this one. So first is we are going to have the income categories. So let's say I'll say first income, and then I can just try to highlight this. So below this one, what you can do is you can actually try to list down all your incomes. So for example, I'll have my main job, and then we can say some freelance income can be there. And then let's say a rental income. Next, I can have some capital gains from some stocks or anything. So then I can have some gifts. So all these can be some of my incomes completely. So next is I'll come to the expenses. So here I'll say expenses, and I'll just try to do the formatting for this. So below this one, I can just try to list down all my expenses. So let's say shopping, then I can have then I can have food, and then rent, then I can have some Wi-Fi bills, Wi-Fi bill, and then for fuel, whatever is that is also going to be expense, and then gym subscription, then we can have a electricity bill, and then gas bill. So all these are going to be some of my expenses in this particular table. So now I'll try to go and create another sheet. So in that sheet, I'll try to have all my transactions completely listed in that particular sheet. So I'll go and create a new sheet. I'll call the sheet as transactions. So I'll have the header over here. I'll merge and center, and I'll say transactions. So I'll just do the formatting for the title. So in the transaction sheet, we will be having a table to list down all our transactions. So first I'll have what is going to be the date, and then the value of the particular transaction. Next, in what category it is going to belong to, and then we'll have the subcategory. And if we want to have any other details about that particular transaction, I can just try to list it over here. So I can say details over here. So I'll just try to adjust the width of these columns. So I'll completely select this, and then I'll do the formatting. So below this one, what I can do is I can actually list down my transactions. So let's say I'll say 5th Jan 2025. The value is going to be 3,200, let's say. And category, we'll have there's income, and I'll say main job. So this is going to be the first transaction. Next, let's say on 7th Jan 2025. So 2,100 is going to be an income. So we can say this as rental income. So then we'll have 10th Jan 2025, $300 expense. And then we can have this as shopping. And let me have one more transaction. So I'll say 5th Jan 2025. So it's again going to be $400. So I'll say expense, and I can say rent over here. So these are some of the different transactions over here. So I can also completely select this, and then I can just try to have this in US dollars. Okay, so this is the complete formatting we have done. So now here, if whatever transactions you have for each and every day, you can just try to go and list down over here whether it's going to be come under income category or expense, and then the subcategory, you can just try to completely list down all the transactions over here. So now I'll come to the overview table, that's a dashboard. So I'll create a new sheet and then I can call this as overview. So I'll go to the top, I'll completely select this and then I'll say overview over here and then I'll do the formatting. So first is we are actually going to have our date at the top. So what is going to be a start date? So I'll completely select this here. I'll say merge center. So I'll say date and then below this one. So I can just try to completely select this. I'll say merge center. So this one also I can just completely merge center. So same thing, I'll just copy and then paste it below. So here I'll have my start date and then below I'll have my end date. So let's say the start date is going to be 1st Jan 2025. Okay, so this is going to be the start date and the end date is going to be 31st December 2025. So this is going to be the end date. So now I'll just completely try to select this and I'll do the formatting. So I can also draw the all borders over here for this one. So for this, I'll have a different color filled in. So now here I have my date. So now I'll just give some space at the top here and this one little bit space I'll give. So we can have a graphs and the other overview, you can just have it. So I'll come here and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have what is going to be all the incomes. I'm going to completely list down below this one. So I'll completely select this over here and let me say merge center. So here I'll have my income and below this one, let's say I'll just try to completely select this, select it completely here and then I'll say merge across. So this one also I can just completely select this and here I'll say merge across. So here I'll just try to have all the values, whatever income categories like we had, we'll just try to have that and the total value, we'll just try to have it over here. So I'll completely select this and then let's have a border color. I'll just change it to a lighter color and then we'll have a all line border. Next, I'll try to increase the size of this title over here. I'll make this bold and let me try to fill this with a light color over here. So below this one, what we're going to do is we are going to have whatever categories we're going to have. So all these categories are nothing but these are listed over here, right? So those categories, we'll just try to have it. So here I'm going to say is equal to, and then I'll use the formula if. So here I'll go and check if this cell, in this cell, if there is going to be any value. If there's going to be no value, so I've just given opening and closing quotations. Condition is going to be true, I'll have no value. So or else I'll have the same cell over there. So this is going to be the formula. So now I'll just try to completely flash fill. See here how many ever categories I'm just trying to have over there. All these categories I've got it over here. Okay. So this is, I've tried to pull out all the categories from the input data over here. Next is, now here we'll try to have the sum of all the values, whatever we have for our main job. So to do that one, we'll be using the sum if formula. So I'll say is equal to sum if, and then I'll say sum if. So first what we need to do is we need to completely select the range. So what is going to be the criteria? So the criteria is nothing but it's going to be main job. So that is going to be the criteria. So I'll come to the transactions and then select the subcategory over here. So this is going to be the criteria. And then the criteria is nothing but it's going to be equal to, and the cell is nothing but it's going to be equal to the main job. Okay, so this is going to be the criteria over here. Okay, so and then I'll give comma. Next is I'll select the sum range. So sum range is nothing but completely here we have the values, right? So this is going to be the sum range. So now I'll close the brackets and then I'll press enter. So here you can get the value. So I'll just change this to US dollars. So here also we'll have this in US dollars. Now the range is going to remain the same. So I'll do the absolute referencing over here for the complete range. So I'll try to do this here as well as in the transaction at the starting. So this range is also going to remain the same. So I'll do the absolute referencing over here. Only this cell will automatically change. So I'll press enter. So now when I just try to completely flash fill this, so you can see we have like two transactions, one for rental income and one for main job. So here we have one for rental income and one for main job. So we are able to get what is the total value, we'll be easily able to get over here. So in the last cell, I'll just completely select this and I'll also highlight this. So here we'll have a total value. So total, it's nothing but is equal to sum of all the complete income. So this is going to be the total value we'll have over here. So I'll also make this bold and then increase the size. So this is the complete income table. So now let me try to go and do for my expense table. So here I'll completely select this. So like this, similarly, I'll just try to have here. So here I'll name this as expenses. So below this one, I just need to have a table. I'll completely select till here and then I'll say merge across. And similarly here also I'll select this and then I'll say merge across. So here what we need to do is here we need to get the complete expense, whatever expenses, different expenses we have, we need to get it over here. So to do that one, I'll say is equal to if, I'll open the bracket. So that one we have in our input data. So I'll go to input data. So if this cell is going to, like, if it does not have any value over here, I'll have no value, or else I'll have the same cell value over there. So like this, I'll just completely try to flash fill. So here you can see I'll get all the categories over here. So now here also I need to use the sum if formula and then I need to calculate. So here I'll say is equal to sum if and then I'll open the bracket. So first is I'll say the range. We need to, the criteria range is nothing but the subcategory. I'll completely select this, give comma, and then the criteria ranges, it should be equal to, and it should be equal to this particular cell, right? So I'll select this particular cell and then I'll give comma. So next is I need to select the sum range. So the sum range, we have it here. So all the values are going to be a sum range. So I'll completely select this and then I'll close the brackets. So this is going to be the value. So here you can see I'm getting the value. So here also I'll try to do the absolute referencing. So I'll just try to go and do the absolute referencing over here for the two range, the sum range and the criteria range. So since that is going to remain the same, right? So I'll do it and I can just try to flash fill this formula over here completely. So here you can see for rent and shopping, I have some values. So since I have some transactions over there, so that's why I'm getting. So I have formatted this into US dollars. So below, I'll just try to find the total value. So I'll say total. And then here it's going to be is equal to sum of. So all my expenses. So I'll completely select. So this is going to be the total value. So I can highlight this. So now we have all our income and expenses listed on our dashboard overview sheet over here. So next is here, let me try to have an overview. So I'll completely select these two complete cells together. So here I'll say overview and then let me try to below this one. I'll just try to select this. I'll say merge center. So below this one. So these four cells I'll just select and merge center. So here I'll copy the same thing and paste it here. So here I'll have what is going to be the total income and expense. So here I'll just try to have this. I'll completely select it. I'll increase the size. I'll make this bold and also I'll have a border for this. So here I can fill this with the color. So I'll fill this with the colors here. So the total income is nothing but it's going to be equal to, so this particular cell, right? So this cell is going to be a total income and similarly our expense is going to be is equal to, so whatever we have over here. So that is going to be the total expense. So here we can easily get these two values. So now I'll just try to create some graphs over here. So first, let me try to create a graph like for, we have the different incomes, right? So I'll just try to completely select this and then let me try to go and insert a chart. So let's have a 2D column chart. So you can see this is going to be the complete 2D column chart over here. So I'll go and name the chart title as my income sources. So this can be my chart title. And also I can go and change this colors to our theme colors. So here you can see like in freelance and other things, we don't have any income. So that one we'll be easily able to see this from this particular graph. Next is if you want to even create a graph for the expenses, we can try to create a graph. So I can just try to select the expenses over here. So the first 5 expenses, I'll just try to select it. And then I'll go to insert. And then let me try to create a 2D column chart. So like a 2D bar chart, I'll just try to create it. So you can have it like my expenses. And we can also change the color to this color. So here you would be able to see where your like the expenses are going. For rent, how much? for shopping, how much. So all this you'll be easily able to track. So this is how you can actually create a simple income and expense tracker in Excel. So first what we have done is we created an input data. We just try to input all our subcategories, what can be my different source of income and what can be my different expenses. Then in the transaction sheet, we have entered all our transactions. So if you go and enter more transactions, automatically this overview here will automatically get adjusted. So here for the entire year, how my income and expense is going to look like. We have created the graphs and the important tables is also at the bottom. So if you wish to use the income and expense tracker template, I have given the link in the description. Please do go and check it out. Also, I have created multiple templates for your small businesses like sales CRM, with business planner, risk management, and many other templates. So if you wish to use any of these templates, you can visit my website plrtech.com and then you can try to download it from there. So the great thing is that these templates are available for both Google Sheet and Excel. And it also comes with master resale rights and commercial rights, where you can try to edit these templates as per your wish and then share it with as many people you like. I hope you would have liked this video. Please do like and subscribe my channel for more such content. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I'll see you in another Google Sheet or Excel tutorial.